I think the most important thing is we're here to talk about games, other stuff, and just have fun.
Indeed, indeed.
Also, I am excited for new Doctor Bees.
Dr. Bees!
Although I do
And
find it funny that half of the extra cast sound exactly the same, but that's Harry for you.
That's Harry. all of Harry
I'm
Partridge's
sorry.
voices are his own.
I'm sorry to be one of youth here, but what's Doctor Bees?
Look in the general chat. Kev posted it.
Oh my god, I inhaled so much. In shock and surprise, I actually...
God damn it, Kev.
Oh god, run the titles.
Run the titles.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Radio Redux. I am of course Kevin, welcoming you back to yet another show as we drag out this series as we wait for art to be made so I can actually start season 11 properly. But until that time, things are happening. And if things are happening, then we really should talk about them, I guess. And there's stuff relevant to all of our interests over the last couple of weeks. So, hey, I've grabbed two people randomly off the street, and they are Earthheart. Or not, as the case may be.
Oh, did you not hear the Yarg?
No.
Oh, whoops. Yarg.
They are Earthheart, but they also might not be. And then there is also Ninten, who definitely is.
Hello, everyone, and to those watching on Radio Sega, my name is Ninten, an artist, game developer, and content creator. Good to be back.
Indeed.
They already know who I am.
Yeah, they know who Earthheart is. One-time Nazi scientist in a Sniper Elite game.
My
mean,
God.
that's good.
And Summer of Sonic Security.
Yes.
Woo!
They go hand in hand, right?
Absolutely. But we're here because there's a couple of things to talk about. One involving a hedgehog, the other involving the opposite of that.
Yes.
Which I think is an octopus.
I thought it was a hog hedge.
I'm not entirely sure. Science has been defunded, so we don't know.
This is true.
This is unfortunate. Unfortunate indictment of how the world works. How are we supposed to know what the opposite of a hedgehog is if science is not there to help us? Sonic Racing CrossWorlds.
Yes.
Yes. The fourth, I guess. Yeah. Is it a direct line of succession for Sonic Racing games? It's not very clear.
Obviously, All Stars and All Stars Transformed were direct sequels.
And then Team Sonic Racing was like, oh, those never were.
Yeah, it was.
Pay no attention to the other games.
So it's worth noting that this is the first one not done by Sumo.
Yes.
Mainly because Sumo's, collapsing in on itself recently. But obviously, Sonic Team and the AM2 team at Sega have obviously taken a lot of inspiration from those previous titles.
Just a little.
To be fair,
Inspirations are a very polite way of saying they've ripped one of them to shreds to repurpose it all.
to a certain extent, but I will say that the gameplay feels. I actually purposely went to go and play the whole series again, like briefly, and it does feel very different control-wise, for the better, I would say. But that's for us to discuss, I guess.
I never played Team Sonic Racing, and I've never played All Stars Transformed. I played the original All Stars Racing though, so this is like my first racing game since then. It was really fun. Like, I'm really happy to work with the Extreme Gear again. I liked Sonic Riders when I was younger. Online matches are really fun, and the switching between races was a little bit of a trip, but I got used to it after I played more games. One of my main complaints, and you know this, Kev, because we played the game together,
Yes.
is the UI in the online space is like it's not well optimized. Like, when you're going in to customize something and you're waiting for the lobby, it brings you out and then you have to restart your progress.
Yeah, the whole thing of it. Oh, you're finding a lobby. Okay, you can go and do something. Excellent. You just get into it and you're able to like do one tap on your controller and then you're immediately thrown out again. It's because it's found you a lobby. is annoying.
I just feel considering the advancements in online networking lobbies now, it's a bit of a step back on Sega's part.
Well, have Sega done an online lobby like this before? Because
Yes.
Have they?
It's called Phantasy Star Online.
Okay,
And Phantasy Star Online 2.
Yes, again.
Okay. For those of you who are listening in the West, Phantasy Star Online 2 is a game that they've made. And they keep pretending doesn't exist elsewhere other than Japan.
Well, no. One specific arm of Sega keeps pretending doesn't exist.
Well, one specific arm of Sega doesn't know what the other arm of Sega is doing because the other arm of Sega is scratching its arse. I mean...
But yes, but I would also argue that that's a very different kind of online lobby because the way that the nature of those things go. While I understand that there's a lot of online lobbies that do the preparation stuff much better, I would say this was a network test. It wasn't the focus probably on getting that done. They were trying to get as many matches done as possible as quickly as possible, but it is something they need to improve. But I wonder how much of that will be fixed via just increasing the waiting times and also not as many people being online because it being an open network, there was probably a lot of more people trying it than will be buying it.
It'll be interesting to see. There was a few things there that were obviously we know it was beta. There was a lot of things that were going on that I was very much questioning the fact that there was for the PC side, the big bug, which I mentioned when playing on stream with Finiku and Luna Arcana, was if you get disconnected out of a lobby and you were on PC, when you came back, it showed your PC name in the corner as opposed to your Steam account or whatever.
Oh, yeah, Argic had that same issue as well.
And that's like a whole heap of why is that there? Why is that information being accessed?
I'm guessing it's to do with the offline stuff, but that's definitely a big bug.
But also no. Why are you taking that information of what my PC's name is? That's not right.
I assume it's to do with being a unique identifier.
I'm sure they have some very legally justifiable reason. But as the owner of said PC, I do not want to see my PC's name suddenly appear in the corner.
It is definitely a security risk.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
There was the fact that as soon as the festival came along, it's like you couldn't do any other online. Let's hope that's not a thing, because that's going to be terrible.
Yeah, if anyone ever wants to jump in, just let us know and we'll drop out after the... I'd rather you did well. That's fine, we're terrible.
Yeah, we're doing terror bad.
It depends if you want to come join.
It's solidarity, mediocrity.
Together we will fail successfully.
That's my Magical Girl tagline right there.
I live.
Hey!
I have access. I have barged in. Hello.
That is a voice I have not heard in a long time. Hey, man.
Hello. How are you enjoying Black and Red Character Simulator?
Everyone is a black and red character.
Did you see the tweet about Jet players?
No.
It was
They're
somebody
players,
on
and that's
Twitter.
part of the problem.
Somebody on Twitter just tweeted, "Jet the Hawk players are domestic terrorists." which I could be honest with you, kind of agree with.
Agree.
Agree.
I'm a domestic terrorist in the cutest car possible.
Amy would have a drill.
I'm gonna drill my way into Sonic's heart.
Unlicensed medical practice.
I'm licensed to kill.
Speaking as a domestic terrorist, I would like to just... I would just like to say a few words about what we're doing here today.
I rolled halfway across my room in my chair.
My face hurts.
Oh, my throat, good God. I can't breathe. Holy shit.
Find out more about it on my autobiography, available on Audible right now.
No, he has a podcast. He would have a goddamn podcast.
He would.
It'd be on Spotify. He streams on Kick. Tell us how you feel since you lost as the Babylon Rogues.
Define loss. What is loss? I'll tell you what loss is. Loss
it's a
is the
great
feeling
webcomic.
inside when you just can't get anywhere in life. I've been waiting to continue my own game series for like 21 years, it feels like, at this point. And all I have to do is accept this bit pot role in this cheap knockoff of somebody else's game.
I suspect that was purely because they wanted to specifically test that thing on the open network test.
But would you rule it out that it's a stupid enough decision that they could make it?
This is something that they do in Splatoon. More so, they lock the rank battles away for Splatfest and forces people to play Turf War so they can get a good amount of players in there to calculate the scores at the end of the Splatfest. However, was there any scoring system in the festival mode?
Yes.
Or was there just...
Yes,
okay.
because it was your way of progressing to unlock various titles and things with points that you gained. And some of the add-ons, the licenses, I think those were locked behind the festival as well. So
I see.
There is some progress, if you like, into locked behind it. But at the very same time, as soon as you were in that situation, you couldn't do anything other than that, really. And
I guess we'll have to wait and see for the full release on that one. But they will have stuff for FOMO. Nintendo is the only company I know that basically goes, if you don't do what we tell you to do, you shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, Nintendo does have this lovely thing, especially in the last 7 or so years, of you play the game how we want you to play it, you enjoy it how we want you to play it, when we want you to play it, and your memories of it don't belong to you. Is a really weird, just in general attitude to have towards your customers.
It is. Especially when most of your player base is indeed children that will have those core memories with those consoles. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Think of the children!
Please,
Will somebody please?
Nintendo lawyers on the phone, they want your firstborn.
I was going to say, I think they are thinking of them. But yeah, I genuinely suspect that is more down to do with the network test and them specifically going, we need to test that the event functionality works. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of forced FOMO in events like this.
The fact that there's
Especially
some very nice the titles and stuff, because obviously we had Joker was for the Persona one, and the titles that were locked behind that event, the festival, just look so much better. They're much more character related, much more colourful, much more artistically designed than the basic stuff you get as part of the game, the general gameplay, and the Chow on its little walk. Stuff. Look, it's a little Chow. He's going for a walk. He's going for. Where's he going to? Is he going to a Chow garden? No, he's bloody well not. There's a bunch of stuff that was just But
yeah, to be fair though, it's one of those things where you have to have these days, with all these things being almost like a needing to have a reason to keep people playing. I understand why they need to give some kind of reward. It'll be what the balance is. If there are like what they call the gear mods that are like, if you don't get this, you're basically hampering yourself forevermore.
That's my real fear, in that it's gonna make online really difficult if you are not at this given point at any given time to unlock this certain thing.
Yeah,
and
titles
I think balance is going to be a problem there.
Yeah, titles and avatars I'm not as worried about, because they are purely cosmetics. And yes, it sucks if you miss the one you want to get, but it's not going to stop you playing the game. Whereas, if there's an important mod which is like, oh, if you don't use this, you have no chance of winning, that's going to be a problem.
What really confuses me with this game is the premise. I actually really like the premise. The idea that the fact that you're effectively recycling something from Sonic Prime is, including the font, is hilarious. But the idea that you're basically fucking doing a sliders into other worlds and dimension is fine. It just baffles me how little they've sort of lent into their own history and Sega's history outside of Sonic Unleashed for those worlds. Yeah. It's weird. I mean, we've got there's the dinosaur one, which is said to be a nod to Sonic Rush, not Sonic Rush, Sonic and the Secret Rings, just because that's the only other time there's been dinosaurs. Like, okay, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a reference to that. But we go to all these other worlds and what have you, and none of them are to do with really Sonic or Sega outside of the ones that are expressly related to Sonic Unleashed. And it feels like that's a bit of a lost opportunity to breathe some life into these other worlds, these other franchises. I know that we've been getting like, there's Minecraft World and there's Pack Village. Excellent.
We're not even getting a Hatsune Miku themed stage, which is what I'm a little annoyed about.
I can understand I can understand why that's a thing, though.
And I'd also question, how would you do that without it just being like a stage you run around?
Yeah.
When I say a stage, I mean a performing stage. I
really appreciate the dialogue referencing all sorts of things that's going on. And I don't just mean the rivals dialogue, like the dialogue that the characters will just do, not between themselves but when they're going around the track. There was a clip the other day showing Storm reacting to one of these like a mountainous, snowy level, and Storm specifically talking about like Ice Factory or whatever the level was from Riders.
Yeah, Ice Factory.
I was like, it reminds me of that, and like that's great. the fact that there's details like the fact that the organ horn is the warning trill from Sonic Spinball, which I didn't even recognize at the time when I put it on there. And then afterwards, I was like, "Oh crap, that's really good." And yet, they've sort of like gone half measures on things. Like the museum. If there was ever a level which is just designed to make you go, here's a whole bunch of shit for you to just stop, look at, and enjoy. Yes, there's like an echidna statue, and I think there's like a Soliana balloon, and there's like a thing of the ancients and bits and pieces, and then you go on this whole set, and obviously there's the tornado, a very very big tornado. There for some reason. I mean, it's monstrous, for God's sake. But the fact that you go through that museum, and that should be absolutely loaded with stuff, right? And then you randomly just go through it. Okay, so here's a vintage car collection.
So what I was more thinking of, why are you crossing over with your other game about a museum that launched this year? 2 Point Museum.
That's not going to happen.
No, I realise. But at the same time, it feels like a lost opportunity, especially when any Sega IP characters are going to be free downloads rather than the licensed characters from the Season Pass.
And we do know, thanks to the leak, close your ears, by the way, we do know that from the leak of the box art that Knights is going to be in it.
Yes.
Oh.
Knights on the back of the box. So unless Knights has literally just snuck it, or like some artist has went rogue at Sega and shoved Knights on there.
I would love if they'd done that.
That would be
force
hilarious.
Sega's hand and make them do a free DLC update for that.
I know a certain Scottish artist, fellow mutual Trippy, would be very happy to bring that out.
Trust me, they already know.
I don't know who this person is you're talking about.
But yeah, the thing that I'm wondering is, like you were saying, there's like, oh, they're missing so much of the rest of Sonic's history. Is that because they're holding stuff back for releases? I don't know, because like there's some very obvious tracks that are missing. There's no Green Hill track.
Oh no.
Anyway,
it seems one of those obvious like wins, and I feel like that's just because they're holding stuff back. Because I
think you'd more likely you'd see Seaside Hill.
Yeah, probably. But even basically, the general model that a lot of companies are being advised to do is hold content back to keep people coming back to see the new content. So my guessing is that, there's a lot of I mean, there's obviously characters we've not seen, because I think they said they're planning on having 50 plus characters eventually, and we've definitely not seen that many.
Well, no.
So
I liked how it was we'll get onto their social in a bit, but there was quite a fuss because they started talking at one point. The social just like get on and play this, like during the test. It was like, get on and play this character, and nobody can because they were locked. So it was like, you can go on and play. It's like, no, we can't because you've locked them. I think it was the Chaotix, actually. Everyone was going, you can't like, play the Chaotix. Oh my god, the Chaotix are here. Look, you can go and play as them now. No, you can't. No, you can't. You have not checked this social out. The whole idea of it like being CrossWorlds and then just ignoring their own worlds that they can cross with is really weird to me. Not nearly as weird as playing the game and just going, and I've spoken to both of you guys about this before, but hey, it's the radio show, so I'll bring it up. The sheer amount of stuff that they have very obviously cribbed, copied, or decorated, let's say, from Transformed is astounding.
It's a lot more from Team Racing, I'll be honest. Like, a lot of the garage stuff I think is from Team Racing.
That's from there, but there is huge, and I mean huge, swathes of track, which is very much just bits cut out of Transformed tracks.
I mean, that's just I hate to say it, but again, those tracks were very well designed. Why would you rip them apart, I guess?
Why would you not update them and just have those tracks be those tracks?
Because that requires more effort.
As opposed, more than just slicing out bits and pieces. So there was a couple of bits where I was just like very much like, hang on a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So the what's the? I need to find the blimmin' thing now.
The casino one's the most obvious.
But that's kind of the same track though. That's fine.
And
it's not pretending to be anything else other than what it is.
Yes, and it has been in every one of those races.
Yeah, there's been yes. A reminder once again, everybody, that Sonic Team are freaking gambling addicts. Okay, they are obsessed with gambling. Okay, why do you think? Again, why do you think, going back to generations, why do you think that the pinball level was the DLC? And the reason that was the DLC is that was planned for generations as one of the... I can't remember the name. What's the name of the level, for God's sake?
Casino Night.
Casino Night, thank you. Casino Night was planned as one of the levels that was going to be in Generations full stop prior to the Facebook. Prior to the Facebook stealth vote that the community took due to somebody we won't mention. But them saying that was really stupid to do an internal vote, considering actually ask the people that would care about this sort of thing, the fans. But they had worked so much on Casino Night already because they love the gambling levels, they love the casino levels, they love the pinball levels because it's all part of the same thing.
Yeah.
And so they'd already worked a hell of a lot of that when the actual vote came back, which was to not have Casino Night and to have something else from that, from Sonic 2. So that was cut, but they'd worked so much on it that they then developed it as the DLC for Sonic Generations. So it shouldn't be much of a surprise that we have that this time. But it's the...
I will point out that it is a level in the DS version of Generations.
Oh, yes, because that was a different thing. And the DS version was specifically set up with the idea that, we can actually do some of these other levels over on the DS one, so people can enjoy the different things on the different platforms. What is the... It's not colourful. What's the one with... I'm trying to find the bloody thing now. I've got a list of the various levels here. And I'm trying to figure out... It's the one with all... When you've got all the blossoms and stuff. Rainbow Garden.
Radiant Garden, yeah.
Rainbow Garden, yeah.
So, the bit where you transform and you have the plane... And by the way... I'm not quite sure how they've made being in a plane boring. Being in a plane in Transformed was amazing because you felt like you were in complete control. You could do like artistic stuff, barrel rolling or whatever all over the place. And it was fun and it was hectic. Whereas it feels very, very stiff and
I definitely
unresponsive when you're in a plane. But that sequence where you're going through the in a plane is very, very, very similar to part of a section in the.
Panzer Dragoon level?
Yeah, the Panzer Dragoon level. From that. And that then goes straight into... Once you've gone down and you've landed and you've gone around the... That goes straight into part of a track which is lifted almost entirely from the Shinobi level from Transformed. And that's got the same freaking aesthetic! So it's so odd! It's so the split route there is when you've got that in it's almost exactly the same. It's so weird. Likewise, the lava planet one, which is just what? Okay. Like super generic stuff. Magma Planet is the official title. Sorry. There's a sequence there, and again it's the flying, and you go from. Part of it is definitely the flying sequence from the Ages race, which then goes into a reskinned version of is it Sky Temple?
Probably
The long curve, the long right hand curve section after that is completely lifted from the Angel Island levels from Sky Temple or whatever, and then part of that is also from the Golden Axe level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like one section of that into another section of that into another section of that, like 3 in a row, and it's so odd to see it, and you're driving it, you feel it. Like this is something else. But the curve I only sort of realised much later when I was sort of thinking back to the various transform levels. Oh no, that's exactly that, like long twist, that long chicane is exactly the same.
See, my biggest issue with how the game handled was I'm not entirely sure what audience they're trying to hit with this. Because...
So we talk about the franchise for the past 25 years, so it's fine.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but... So, like, there's... Usually when you're doing various types of games, you have an audience in mind for this stuff. And the problem with some recent games is they're trying to hit too many audiences and everything ends up being a bit washed. So, and I feel like this is kind of where the one major problem I have with CrossWorlds is I don't know whether they're trying to be a serious competitive racing game or they're trying to be a child-friendly, everyone has a chance of winning thing. Because at the moment, it feels like they're trying to do both and it doesn't work exactly.
I mean, yeah, the way the mechanics work with some of that is odd.
You've definitely got your power-ups that are like, oh, these are meant to slow people at the front of the pack down. And they're semi-effective. Almost I'd say about 90% of the races I played. Generally, there was definitely not like anyone that was unbeatable from the start. But it definitely was 2 or 3 races where first place was half a lap ahead of someone else.
Yeah.
And
whilst it's generous with catch-ups, particularly in the Team Sonic Racing themed festival events,
which I didn't play any.
The catch-ups I found and the rest of my team found were actually not very helpful. Because you would have a situation whereby, okay, specifically for the tap racing, so this is when you're going around and you're trying to tap your teammates as much as you can to build up a gauge and you get a speed boost and what have you, blah, blah, blah. You're very much dependent upon everybody being sort of at the same level, really, for that. And if you've got a situation whereby, you got a couple of people ahead, a couple of people behind, which we did. If you're in position, 10th, 11th, and 12th, you might get a monster truck. You might get the King Wisp. And in my headcanon, Yakka has been made royalty now, and that's the only reason that would explain King Wisp.
Voted for the helping save the race.
Yes. We have declared that you are now royalty. And because the Wisp Mother doesn't exist in my canon, so but if you were given then a drill, or you were given a monster truck or something along those lines, as a catch-up device, that's great except that then actively takes you away from the people you're close to, and if anything, makes the gap between everyone else worse. It's actually a disadvantage on the tap.
And this was the problem with Team Sonic Racing in the first place, was the mechanic it was a nice idea, it didn't work well.
And that's what the one thing that I got immediately from this game was like okay, well, we like the idea that everybody liked Transformed a little bit more than Team Sonic Racing, but damn it, we're sticking with this. It did very much feel like you're going to like this whether or not.
It's like
whether you say you're gonna love this, we have to force you to.
It's like those game developers, and I know I'm contradicting here I'll say intermediate now because I think I've gotten better at craft. It's more of like, hey, we made this. You should appreciate it. You should love it. You should grovel on your knees and beg for more DLC of like cut content that we couldn't do because of like time constraints and deadlines and stuff like that. But yeah, like obviously I've not played Transform, so I don't really know the difference per se. Reused assets are always used in game development anyway. However, I think this is an overuse of reused assets.
There's a few other things like the ghosts. Okay, the ghosts being ripped. Why has King Boom Boo got like shades on? I love the fact they brought him back for this.
Oh, he was in Team Sonic Racing as
well.
I
think, why has he got rainbow shades on? What's the point of that?
Because I think he got his own level where he was basically the king of the level, and he haunted you throughout the entire level. We
didn't need to know that. His name's King Boom Boo, for fuck's sake. I mean, what more do you want?
Playable character.
Yes. If a piranha plant could be a fighter in Smash.
Exactly.
It's that whole thing though. It's like, but the actual ghosts, the fact that the ghosts are like the same freaking textures more or less from SA Sonic Adventure 2, rather I should say. And
I wonder
they
if
look
that
bad.
Yeah, I do wonder if that's slightly purposeful. As look, we're not going to mess with it for nostalgia, but
okay.
It does look odd.
Yeah, but at the same time, you could take the pixels out of it. Yeah, the visible pixels. You might want to do something about that to make it not look so crap now.
They should make it in Blender.
From what I have played, I don't think the forced elements are as egregious as some other games. Doom Eternal, for instance, whom Ask Me or Turbo, the way they changed the gameplay to force you to play it the way they wanted you from the previous game ruined that game entirely. At least with this, I feel like it's more we're throwing everything at the wall, and sure, we'll occasionally do events where you'll have to play with the stuff you don't like, but it's not forcing you to do it 24/7.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's as egregious. I understand why they're doing it. I don't necessarily think it's a good thing, but then again,
I will say
can't. I think they're trying to please too many people at once, though.
The idea, by the way, from what I've seen, obviously it's not something we've been able to play yet. Pumpkin Mansion. If you've seen a clip of Pumpkin Mansion, you will probably be going, "I've seen this before," because it's about. Regarding what I've said earlier with reskin stuff, that looks very suspiciously like the House of the Dead level, almost in its entirety, just rebased, just with Pumpkin Hill splattered over the top of it.
Yeah, that's
the dead environment completely re-UV mapped.
It's just oh god. Anyway. I've been I greatly enjoyed the character interactions, and I greatly enjoyed the dialogue. Cream being an absolute terror, and this is like poor Vector, man. Is like everyone knows, man. Just ask the rabbit out. It's been how long since Sonic X, it's the one fucking thing they dragged over from Sonic X into canon was Vector loves vanilla, and is very protective of Cream. But Cream actively going, you should let me win, Mr. Vector, because it'll go down very well with my mother. It's like, what?
As one of the other things is like, there's very few people Omega are positive about.
Yes.
And Cream's just like, yes, tiny fragile rabbit. I have no intention of hurting you. Okay then, Mr. Omega, you're going to let me win then. It's like,
yeah. Also, Cream's gotten some well, this is the good. This is actually obviously more Amy's influence as big sister figure, because Cream specifically using the cutesy this as a weapon to get her way is kind of an Amy thing, but also Cream in that game going, if somebody says something, Cream's got a freaking woo. You don't want to mess with Cream.
Oh no, she's got a backbone.
She's got a backbone and then some.
I think that's partially cheese backing up with the muscle.
But just like her frowny face is like she's gonna rip your limb from limb in a minute. The interaction she has with Wave, because Wave is like, this is the one bit where it is kind of lazy writing. Is like all of Cream's the negative ones are all like, you're just a kid, go away, is always some variation. That's the first line. But Cream actively going, I'll show you and I'll beat the crap out of you.
I suspect some of that is limitations based on what they're allowed to let a kid say.
The one with Wave in particular.
Yeah, that's brutal.
That is... Cream's gonna cut a bitch.
Yeah, and that's why I think
Cream's going to give the knife to Cheese, and Cheese is going to do it.
Also, just in general, I love the fact that the Babylon Rogues are back. I hate the fact that they've been taken out of their own game series.
I do.
Because it does feel like they've been taken out of their own game series to prop up this one.
I do, but I think the more thing that infuriates me with it is we've now got extreme gear in this game as just like a general model type, but then it's like, well, every other... The gears are the boost category. Every other category is a car. Why can't we have motorcycles? Why can't we have, other, types of transport?
I think that they'll be added in at some point later. I'm astounded that there wasn't immediately like a pre-order option, considering everything that was going on. I'm astounded that the pre-order option didn't involve Shadow's bike.
Yeah.
Considering what a big fuss they made out of it over the suffering and doom gear of Shadow, or whatever the fuck it was called. That's a deep cut reference, by the way, for anybody on Radio Sega. They had such a big fuss over that. Also, actually, the animation, by the way, was gorgeous.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Shadow tries to kill the Babylon Rogues.
Yep. Shadow.
There's no way about it. He's like, okay, Tails and Amy taken out early. Okay, fair enough. Sees the Rogues, tries to, literally land on Wave or Jet. I can't remember which one it is, but Shadow's actively like, I'm going to crush you to death.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to just viciously murder you in the name of this race. What the hell?
I think the big thing for me was more that one of the big strengths of the Riders games was the fact that you had multiple types of extreme gear. You had the boards, you had the skates, you had the bikes, and then there were a couple of other unique ones. And it feels like, well, if you're gonna bring the board extreme gear over, why aren't you bringing the rest of them over?
Yeah, because there was a bunch of stuff. And again, there's references to this and the history of the Riders franchise in the dialogues.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the nicest ones I liked just in general was one between Espio and Silver, which was just like very respectful and just like, oh, it's nice to see you again. We get to race again. And that's a reference to Rivals 2, everybody.
Yeah. That's true.
That's a reference to them being...
The thing is,
Gonna
like,
catch me, gotta pass me, I know a trick or two.
Like,
wins a race, wins a race, wins a race.
Race to win.
Oh, no. I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose.
Nintendo's doing the mirror tracks, everybody.
Ian Flynn's done a lot of trying to connect everything together. Although...
Connective tissue. And Ian has the same idea that I had back then, which was that, you know, certain events have to be canon.
Yeah.
In order for other certain events to happen, which is important to the main flow, so you need that connective tissue.
Though I do find it very interesting that there are very specific titles which are not allowed to be mentioned anymore. And some of them make sense, but others I'm just like, but that's where those characters come from?
Again, this is the whole thing going back to, I mean, if you're talking just canon in general, remember, Sonic Team don't give a shit about canon. Canon is whatever it, as I've said before, you know, the Sega thread that everyone likes to take out of context. Whatever Sonic Team needs on any given day is what canon is. We care about, the fans care about canon, where these characters come from, etc., in the history. The writers... You know, the likes of the IDW team and Tyson and Ian, all of us slot together, we care about that and the character histories and what have you and the relationships and how things build, which is why those bits of dialogue are so rich in that. And the fact that there is these very realistic interactions in a lot of instances. Like, the idea that Blaze and Espio are, like, really respectful to each other. There's only, like, a couple of characters that treat Blaze with her proper title and deference, which is, unsurprisingly, Espio, who is very much of that kind of respectful persuasion, you know, his ninja background, but he is... very much aware and was like brought up and trained in a certain way, so it makes sense that he's very respectful towards Blaze and he'll treat Blaze like, you know, she is the queen/princess depending upon what's going on at any given time. There's the fact that you have the stuff from Blaze's side is like, oh, I recognize that you are this trained warrior, Espio. It's a shame you work for the Chaotix, you know, because I respect your talents. It makes sense that people question Blaze and go, you know, it's really good to see you again, and you know, you should hang around now, and you should enjoy, you know, your world is safe, you should be able to enjoy this and, you know, come over to us more often in this world. And it makes sense that Knuckles and Blaze also have that respectful nature because they're the two guardians. And that's reflected is great.
Yeah, I think though.
And then there's Big the Cat.
Yeah, well, you know.
Oh no, Zavok fears Big the Cat. I don't give a shit. And neither should you.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you're always going to get the troll fans. You need to.
Shadow going to Big, what are you doing here? Is the most me line. The fact that Big then responds with, what are you doing here? He's the fucking most popular character in the franchise. That's why. You had Sonic be beaten canonically for only the second time ever. Because Sonic is beaten... I'm sorry. Sonic is beaten in Riders 1. Canonically. Yes. He loses the race. They cheat to do it, the rogues, and Jet's not massively happy about it, actually, if you remember. It's Wave that does it.
Yes, that's true.
But Jet beats Sonic, which is why Sonic and Jet, in particular, like, Jet gets under Sonic's skin a lot. And it's partly because Jet does have that 1 in the win column over him. And Shadow canonically beats... presumably that the animation is in canon. Question mark.
You'd assume so.
But it's like the only other time in the entire franchise's history that Sonic is shown to lose.
And then Sonic blames it on the fact that he's in a car. Probably. Anyway,
that's that.
Yeah, that was a lot.
For as far as I'm concerned, like, the game is... My opinion of it is the online test was fine. I did play the closed test, and it was definitely an improvement from the closed test, I will say that. Mm-hmm. Now, I've played both on PlayStation, so my experience will be slightly different. But overall, it's definitely an improvement on Team Sonic Racing. I don't think it's going to have quite the staying power as Transformed, but I'm willing to be proven wrong, and I think it's going to depend on how well they balance the live service act. I do think people are taking the fact that the DLC characters are all external IPs and that they're too expensive. There's been a lot of complaints about that, but I also am like, well, they might not be able to... That price is probably more dictated by the external IPs rather than Sega themselves. And the fact that all of the internal IPs seem to be free, I think is at least a goodwill gesture to a certain extent. I think it's just going to have to be wait and see how much they support it is probably going to be based on how many people play it / buy it. I think there's... Yeah, I don't have any strong feelings against it, but I'm also not massively excited about it. Yeah. But I think it'll be perfectly fine and enjoyable. At the moment, I can see it hitting my top 5 of the year because
it was really enjoyable.
Yeah, it's fine. My biggest worry is I feel like they want it to be a competitive title as well. And that's where I think it's going to fall over.
Yeah.
But as just, I think it's definitely a leg up from Team Sonic Racing. And that's all we can really ask for at this point in time, really.
That's good. But I think the fact that... I think somebody showed that... I mean, this was highlighted again by the fact that... Sega doing a Sega, by the way, and not encrypting the files properly.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's hilarious to me. Because that just proves they just don't learn.
No, they never will.
They just don't learn. Oh, nearly 20 years of this. Like, the stuff on the website. Well, we've put everything in folders for all the characters yet to come. And we've put all the things like image 01. Let's hope nobody puts 02 down to find out what's there. But I think somebody showed that, like, at its peak, that this open network test was, like, more active users at any one time than the Team Sonic Racing's peak.
Mm-hmm.
Which is mad. Absolutely mad that they achieved that. Would you like to know the results of the open network test? Because they have put some out. The most popular characters were in 5th, Cream and Cheese.
Yay!
Which I'm pleased
Shayla.
about. In 4th, Tails. In 3rd. The well-known domestic terrorist, Jet the Hawk.
Oh, yeah, him.
Jet the Hawk getting in 3rd. 2nd, Sonic.
Yep.
And number 1,
Sonic.
Shadow the Hedgehog, everybody. The face of the franchise.
The new face of the franchise.
The new face of the franchise. The more interesting character. Again, going the dialogue. The fact that you have the opportunity to have Sage and Shadow, debate stuff. Sage asking Shadow's like, do you consider yourself as somebody who's like a creation of the robotic lineage? Are we like family? And Shadow going, I've left that behind me. I'm no longer bound to that. After
I will
Sonic and Shadow generations, I like that. Most selected main courses were, in 5th, Colourful Mall, which is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those ones where more life and detail, I think, could be put into it as opposed to it looking very generic-y.
Yeah.
Honestly, that I saw the trailer for Rocket League that they had for season 20 or whatever it was the other day, which includes a Sonic tie-in.
Yes.
It looked like they were racing through Colourful Mall. Mystic Jungle, which I hate because I hate what they've done to Mystic Jungle. They've completely forgotten the whole point of Mystic Jungle.
I think that's based specifically on the Forces one, to be fair.
Yes, which is no excuse for not remembering what Mystic Jungle is. E-Stadium...
I think that's meant to be more like the default course.
Yeah,
and it's fine.
Weird note, by the way, they say, or in Jet's dialogue, I think they say, about how it's like a stadium shaped like Sonic. There is no view you ever see of this that looks anything like it's Sonic shaped. I'm sorry. Not the track, not the outside shots you see. At no point is like, yeah, that's definitely, it's been built to look like Sonic. No, it doesn't. For the silver medal, Metal Harbor.
Now that one is lifted directly from the Team Sonic Racing track, I think.
If it is, a lot of that DNA's got from the Afterburner.
Yes, it is.
Track from Transform. But for some, why does it look worse? Metal Harbor. I don't get that. It looks so bland and generic looking, everything.
But I will say, in terms of race courses, I actually think that's one of the nicer ones to race around.
Yeah, so I like the routing. They can't animate a plane flying for shit, apparently now.
I think that's purposeful because they had to take
It's waggling around like it's an R-wing.
Yeah.
Which...
That's probably their understanding of a plane anyway.
Again,
anyway.
SA2's Metal Harbor had jets zipping around. I mean, I'm guessing that you guys can guess what is number one track.
Lotus?
Applesauce?
Applesauce, yes. Applesauce from Sonic Unleashed. A level which looks really weird without any of the humans in it.
It does.
It looks so wrong. Also, yes, this narrow town, it's purely so people could use the monster truck, as everyone knows, the narrow street,
it's also
the quick step section. They're actually including the quick step section is a wow.
I also think it's to balance out the boost types because the boost types can't drift as much in there, which I actually think that's quite well designed.
Do you know what? I think we should all just be domestic terror.
You all want to be Jet.
I want to be Jet.
Okay.
It's like a Jet 2 holiday.
No, somebody did that. Somebody actually was playing as Jet with their name being 2 Holiday.
Oh my god.
It's in the LMC Discord. It's like...
Darling, hold my hand.
There we go.
Hey, Jet Squad.
Jet party.
There's always that one Jet, though, who has to be in a car.
Hang on a minute.
His knees are too crunchy for the board.
Hang on. I'll try and do the thing. Hang on.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off a family of 4. We've got millions of free child police holidays available, with 22 kilograms of baggage included. Book now with Jet 2 Holidays. Package holidays you can trust. And you can always trust the Babylon Rogues.
How do you know the whole thing?
I looked it up quickly.
I can't breathe.
Darling, hold my hand.
So with this recording ends here, everybody, and we'll be back on next week's show, I guess, to talk about Nintendo Direct. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nothing's coming out immediately with Nintendo Direct.
We'll fit something in there.
Yeah, we'll fit something in. But until then, my thanks to Nintendo.
Thank you.
My thanks to Earthart.
Thank you very much as well.
And my thanks to Sumo Digital for developing Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed so we could have this game like 12 years later.
Oh boy.
We'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.